Joy is an internationally acclaimed life transformation specialist. She's certified in more than a dozen different holistic health modalities. She became a holistic health practitioner after the Western medical profession gave up on her. She travels the world teaching fast, easy, fun ways to live a more joyful, less stressful life. Her focus is psychoneuroimmunology. Psychoneuroimmunology. Okay. How the way we think affects our health and well-being. Please welcome Susan Miller. Joy Phoenix. Prince Big, that's the one I see at my age. Welcome, Joy. Sorry.
Thank you. No worries. That's mine, yes. I finished writing this at 2:30 this morning.
And I'll sing them.
All right, no worries. Thank you. G'day. Thank you all so much for having me. I am so excited to be in Ahahig among so much accumulated wisdom. And since I've arrived here, people have been calling me kid. Oh, I'm crackling. I'm getting to have conversations with people 30, even 40 years older than me, and it is such an incredible thrill. They've been so willing to share their wisdom with me, particularly about aging, because, well, frankly, I hadn't really thought much about it. I never thought that I'd be old enough to, I'd be dead before now, quite frankly. But I'm still here and I'm aging, and they're not kidding when they say it isn't for sissies. I really want to salute those of you that are doing it with such ease and grace. I hope you don't mind, my friend David is actually recording this presentation for me so that I can watch it later and learn from it. I was supposed to be scheduled for the middle of next month, so I thought, well, I've got lots of time to write it. No. So I'm going to watch it later on so that I can learn. It's not easy to critique yourself when you're the one on stage. Oh, I'm making noises. Oh, my earrings? I'm going to take my earrings out. That's what it is. Yeah. Quanya, the goddess of compassion, not so compassionate when it comes to... Okay. Yes, I'm going to be watching this later on, so you all please have to be a nice audience, because it's not easy. I mean, I sit there in horrified amazement looking at myself going, that's not what I look like. I'm a great deal younger than that. What happened to my face? Where did those wrinkles come from? I figured it out. It's gravity. I've never been a big fan of gravity, but I'm liking it less and less. You know, it's like you get up around half a century and everything starts just getting tired of holding itself up and starts sliding down or off to the side. You know? Thank God for push-up bras. You know, I mean, you know, forget about me going south for the winter. It's my breasts that are migrating to my waist. Gravity. You know, I was shoe shopping with an elderly friend of mine, and this little girl came up and admired her crocodile shoes. My friend was barefoot at the time. Gravity. Well, she might, as she puts it, need ironing, but I tell you what, she's not old. You know, aging is as much about your mental state as about anything else, and this woman keeps her mind as sharp as she keeps her tongue. And she taught me this exercise that I'm going to show you. It's a wonderful little brain gym technique called putting your thinking cap on. And it actually helps to tune yourself in. It helps improve short-term memory. It's really good for abstract thinking. It's just absolutely marvellous if you're trying to concentrate while you're on the computer. Now you can do this for yourself, or you can do it in a much more fun way. And turn to the person next to you, and you're going to roll their ears out. Oh, I can't do this while I've got a headset on. Okay, so come, ears. Bring me your ears. Lend me your ears. And all you're going to do is you're just going to start at the top. Oh, those are lovely earrings, aren't they? See all this here, you can't see them. Okay, and you're just going to start at the top and going to roll quite firmly all the way out and down to the very end. Go on, turn to the person next to you. Why? Because it's really much more fun that way, and you know, you might as well be having a good time. And just do this 3 or 4 times. Yes, there we go, darling. If you don't have someone next to you, it's okay to do it for yourself. Doesn't it feel nice? Oh, does it? I'm sorry, don't do it too hard. Thank you. And the reason that that feels so good, or it should be feeling too good if you're not doing it too hard, sorry darling, is you're actually giving yourself a whole little body massage there because of all of the acupressure points that are in your ears. Doesn't that feel great? Who's feeling more tuned in? Yes? This is a very useful thing to do when you're listening to an excited New Zealander. Are you all right with my accent? When I get excited, I talk too fast. So just Lucy, oh no, that's probably not going to happen. But I can speak more slowly. Thank you. You can stay. Okay. While I don't have the benefit of the extra decades, I do know what it's like to wake up and find yourself in a body that doesn't function the way it ought to, and to suddenly inherit a brain that, you know, was perfectly good just a few days ago and now can't follow a thought process to completion. I was 24 when I was hit by a drunk driver. At 11 o'clock in the morning, this bloke was as fully loaded as a telecom van that he smacked me with. And I was brain injured to the point where the doctors said that if I wasn't dead before I was 30, I'd be brain dead. After 18 months of trying every traditional medical test known to man and getting worse rather than better, I decided to take my power back and start investigating alternative holistic modalities, starting with specialised kinesiology. And that taught me about brain function and how to reprogram the neurological pathways in my brain to bypass the brain damage and to access different parts of my brain. See, the problem was every time I was any kind of stressed, the soft tissue back here would swell and it would stop the blood from getting to my brain. And so I'd black out, and sometimes this would happen 3 or 4 times a day. And of course, the less blood and the less oxygen going to your brain, the more of a challenge it is. You know, you can't think, you can't remember. There's these big holes in your brain all of a sudden. I couldn't remember. And I couldn't think. Does any of you, do you know how that feels? Does anybody here know that, how to not be able to complete a thought process or remember something? Yeah, man, it truly sucks. You know, 2/3 of people experience this as a result of aging. You know, you get up past 60 and your memory, your concentration, your clarity of thought, your focus, your judgment, they all start going down the gurgler. And neurological problems like Parkinson's and Alzheimer's and strokes all start rearing their ugly heads. But what can you do? Well, actually quite a lot if you make up your mind to do it. You know, 2/3 of people allow their brains to age, but the other third, nah. Their brains just keep on functioning no problem at all. And I reckon, in large part, it could be because they were like me and that's too stubborn to allow their brain to die. They just decided that they were going to keep themselves functioning. This was my frontal lobe scan. I don't know if you can see that. These black spaces, they're the gaps that happened when the blood and the oxygen wasn't getting to my brain. And the orange parts are frenetic mental activity. Because what would happen is I was following a thought process, I'd hit one of these black lines which appeared to me like this big wall. And I'd have to back up and find new thoughts and think my way around it. It was a challenge that was absolutely immense and always ongoing. And I was very motivated to move past it. And so I continued studying different modalities. And with everything I learned, I got stronger and I got clearer and I became more and more empowered and I got hooked. I never stopped learning, and that's why, as Connie was saying, I'm now certified in more than a dozen different holistic health modalities. And instead of weaving baskets at age 30, which was what the court-appointed psychiatrist suggests that I do in order to continue being a functioning member of society, I had actually conceived of and co-created Australia's first independent third-party support organisation. I was advisor to state and federal government. I had shown the government how to save billions of dollars in their end-user computing costs. I had created an entirely new series of revolutionary traineeship schemes that introduced thousands of people into jobs that simply weren't there before. And I was the first individual ever to be nominated for an Excellence Award in Industry Development. And what helped me achieve these things was in large part the tools and the skills that I learned while I was researching how to make myself better. And they were hidden. They were all squirreled away in these far-out esoteric modalities that nobody, unless they had a whole lot of money and a whole lot of time and nothing else to do, which was the position I was in, could ever possibly find. I learned how to read faces with 98% accuracy. I learned how to clear deep level emotional trauma without any kind of pain or drama. I learned how to clear stress in minutes. I learned how to relax instantly. I learned how to manipulate time. Amazing stuff that nobody knew about. Well, I thought that sucked, so I nicked all of the best ones. And this is what I travel the world teaching to everybody from corporate executives to kindergarten. Because let's face it, if these tools helped me overcome my challenges, imagine what they could do for you, eh? And if you don't have any problems with your brain, well, awesome, think about what they could do for you. A gentleman friend is using his new brain power to experiment with a new kind of Viagra that you sprinkle in your tea. Hasn't done much for his sex life, but it has kept his biscuit from going soft. Nowhere near it's anything. Only just got that one, didn't you, madam? I'd like to show you how to turn your brain on. Would you like to know that? Oh, good on ya. It's a very cool thing, actually. So you make a hand like this. These are your brain buttons. Okay, 2 fingers, darling, and your thumb. And right underneath your clavicle here, you've got 2 little soft spots, little hollows. These are your brain buttons. And we're going to be rubbing them quite firmly for about 2 minutes. And put your other hand on your tummy button and just press nice and firmly. And breathe deeply for 2 minutes. Now, what this does is this very simple thing. It turns on your whole brain. Give it a go. No fair dinkum. There we go. There's people out there not doing it. How are you going to find out if this is verdad or not unless you give it a go? Okay. What it does is it increases blood flow and electromagnetic energy to the brain, which is what increases your ability to concentrate. This is what you do. Give them a good rub. They might be a bit tender. If they're sore, rub them more. Yes. And after a while, the tenderness will go away, and just touching these points will activate your brain. This is what you do when you need help with reading and writing and speaking and following directions. A lot of people actually notice a greater relaxation with their neck and shoulder muscles. Okay, take a deep breath. Yes, touching your belly button with one hand, you're giving these a good rub with the other. Take a deep breath and switch hands. And this activates the other side of the brain. Just do it for a couple of minutes more. Breathing deeply. Come on, you're breathing anyway. Okay. Ow. This has actually saved my life on a couple of occasions, because one of the things that it does as well is it wakes you up when you're feeling drowsy. By crikey, it's good when you're driving home and you've been out for a night out on the town and you've got about half an hour to go and you're really, really tired. Take one hand, not both hands. You don't need to do the belly button while you're driving. Keep going. breathing. I want you to test the difference of this. And it'll give you like another 20 minutes. It will, because while we know that naps do prevent old age if you take them while you're driving, it's not good. So who's noticing that you're feeling a bit more alert? Isn't that cool? All you were doing was doing a bit of a rub. It really just makes a huge, huge difference. Now, one of the biggest things that you can do to increase your brain power and your brain function is learn how to think new thoughts. Every time I got to one of those gaps or walls, as I said, I would back up and find new thoughts to think around it. And this is what programs the paths to your brain, these new thoughts taking you in different directions. Okay. Yeah, you're all awake, good. Now that your brain is switched on, let's do something really, really powerful with it. You want it? Okay. Think of an orange. What colour is it? Yes! Now, think of a lemon. What colour is it? Madam, you've just done the most powerful thing that it's possible for any human being to do. You chose a thought, you placed it in your head, and then you exchanged it for another one. Now I'm going to tell you a secret, a marvellous secret. Are you ready? This works for more than just fruit. It truly does. You can choose your thoughts. If a thought isn't taking you somewhere that you want to go, stop. Turn around, choose a different thought. Take a different direction. It's only a thought. And a thought can be changed. You go, we're an open circle. I'm not going to talk to you about how our thoughts create our reality and the law of attraction and stuff like that. You probably all already know that, yeah? But it's making it work for you. It's sometimes a little bit more challenging, yeah? What helped me was learning to treat my brain like the massively sophisticated bioorganic supercomputer that it is. You get a whole lot more mileage out of it when you do that. And that old adage, garbage in, garbage out, oh, that applies just as much to the brain as it does to the laptop, doesn't it? What kind of programs has your brain got running? Yeah, there's a lot of virus programs out there. Installed in most people in their first frame references before age 7, before they had any kind of chance of defending themselves. Installed by their parents and peers in school and church and government and media. You can only be happy and successful if you look like this and smell like this and own 3 of these. You're too young, you're too old, you're too stupid, you're too lazy. What do you know about your body? Oh, I've been to medical school, I'm from the government, I'm here to help you. It's never too late to start clearing virus programs like these. Now obviously in this forum we don't have any kind of time to do anything like that, but I do want to offer you 2 immensely powerful questions that go a long, long way toward giving you a much richer, more productive life. But first you have to set up the virus detector. Okay, and that's really super easy because what you use as a trigger are words like I can't, I never, or I'm not, or even I should or I must. Okay, anytime you hear those words, stop right there, that's your virus detector going off, ding, 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 and check and look to see what follows. Are the words that follow, I do, I can't, I mustn't, I never, blah, blah, are they words that you want creating your reality? Because if they're not, then these are the questions that you can use to help to turn the tide. The first question is this still true for me? Is this still true for me? And if the answer to that is no, then ask, what is true for me now? Now the reason that I like these questions so much is that they don't disrespect anything that you've experienced, you know. They honour what was, and then they politely inquire, well, is it still the case? And if it's not, you're very much more able to move forward without the burden of guilt or shame. So when you hear the virus detector go off, I can't, whoops, there's one. Let's have a look and see what I was going to say. I can't do this because I need to be, okay, is that still true for me? I can't belly dance. I like those drums. No, is that still true for me? No, I can do anything as long as I want to, enough. What is true for me now? Well, the fact that I can do this in front of an audience, you can do anything. Anything at all. Powerful questions. You want to stay young and really improve your brain power? Become a collector of questions. Because with the right question, you can get the answer to anything at all. Here's one. How old would you think you were if you didn't know how old you are? There you go, madam, 36. You know, I have a theory that everybody gets to a certain age, might be slightly different for everybody, and then they just stop. They don't get any older inside themselves. They get more experience, you know, and a bit more wear and tear. That wear and tear is a bugger. Excuse me. So, can I teach you, would you like to learn the secret to instantly relaxing to avoid some of that wear and tear? Yeah? Alright. Oh, you can love this. When I heard this, I was gobsmacked. Okay, it's as simple as this. To instantly relax, all you have to do is breathe out more than you breathe in. I mean, think about it. How do we breathe when we're stressed? Or... Okay, this sends a very bad message to the body. Not only is there stress online, but there's oxygen deprivation as well. But how do you breathe when someone says, it's all right, darling, everything's going to be just fine? Yes! We sigh. And that is how your body came to recognize a long exhalation or a sigh as a trigger or a signal to relax. That's where you can trick your body into relaxing just by breathing out more than you breathe in. Don't take my word for this. Give it a go. See what you feel. Don't need to hyperventilate. Just give it a go. And keep doing it, not just the once. And notice what happens to your body. It's going, oh. This wonderful music we put out there. It's a good time. This is a good one to remember next time you're feeling stressed. Stress will age a person just faster than anything else. Has anybody here seen somebody like age right before their eyes in front of or in the face of really chronic or long-term stress? It's intense. You know, authorities tell us 90% of illness is stress-related. 90%. When you're under extreme or chronic stress, your body responds as if it was being physically assaulted. Your muscles tense up, your heart rate increases, your adrenaline kicks in, your immune system goes on high alert. And over time, this wears out your immune system. There you go, good on you. See, he's tuning in. Do I need to talk more slow? Yeah, see, I'm liking you. The more run down your immune system gets, the more prone you are to getting sick. It's not rocket science. Now, when I asked which of my skills would most benefit our Hahikins, I was really surprised to hear that clearing stress was right up there. I'm going, it doesn't get much more tranquil than this, you know. But then the bloke explained how many of you good people do charity works and try and organise things in Mexico. I'm trying to organise things in Mexico, I understand. And I also know that stressful situations don't cause long-term problems. It's our inability to control the stress that different situations create. That's what causes the problems. We're not taught how to deal with stress. We're taught work harder, work smarter, take a pill, have sex, have a drink, have a smoke, go to church, anything except clear the stress. And so what happens is the stress gets suppressed into the body, or it eventually manifests as pain and dis-ease and disharmony. This is what happens when you suppress symptoms instead of addressing causes. So I want you to take a moment, because you can, to measure your stress levels on a scale of 1 to 100. Who here is more than 50? More than 50? Okay. More than 60? 70? If you keep your hand up rather than doing this. More than 60? Come on up here, darling. You can do it. Really, I don't bite unless you ask me very nicely. You're laughing, I think I'm joking. Come on. What's your name? Ken, g'day, Ken, I'm Joy. It's lovely to meet you. I'm going to show you a really cool way to keep a clear head under stress. Because let's face it, you know, stress happens. It just does. And there's not a whole lot that we can do to change the stuff that happens to us. But what we can do is choose how we're going to respond to the stuff that happens to us. And I'm going to show you something really groovy. You all right standing there? I want you to hold your arm out really strong. Don't let me push it down. And think of something that makes you really happy. All right? Ken, you've been working out, mate. There you go. That's impressive. Okay, now I want you to think about your stress and don't let me push your arm down. Try this with the person next to you because you're not going to believe it until you do it. Go on, say, stick your arm out. That looks really trippy. Stick your arm out, think of something that makes you happy. Feel how strong that muscle is. And now think of the stress and see if you can push their arm down. There's no resistance. It's the most amazing thing. Did you feel the difference? No, you're not sitting down yet. I got you. When stress comes online, I know, isn't that amazing? That's so weird. What happens when stress happens is everything else turns off. I know, don't you just love doing it to the big strong blokes in the audience? Exactly. That's how much of an effect stress has on your body. And what's our initial response to stress? If somebody's just told you something really, really appallingly stressful, what do? You go, oh my God. Let's do that now. No, your forehead. There we go. Oh my God. Okay, this is your body's way of saying, keep your hand up here. Do this for yourselves, because you're going to notice something really, really wild. What you're doing is you're holding your frontal eminences. These are these little, and on a lot of people, they're the wee bumps up here, and you know you've got them covered when you're just doing that. So, what we do, what happens when stress comes online, 85% of your blood just leaves your forebrain and takes all cognitive thought with it. What you're doing, these are neurovascular holding points that affect blood circulation. And when you hold them, you're preventing blood from leaving the forebrain. So your thoughts remain clear and your mind stays functioning. Now, if you do this for just 3 minutes while using the breathing technique that I showed you, go on, stick your arm up. It's not like I'm asking you to twist yourself into a pretzel and on at just the right pitch for crying out loud. No one's going to look at you strangely. If you're tired, you can do this, you know. That's all good. Okay? What you're doing is you're reprogramming your primitive brain centers to have a composed response to stress instead of an emergency reaction. It's amazing. Let's give us an arm. Think about your stress, Ken. That's how big the difference is. And will we give 2 minutes? I know. Thank you very much. Give Ken a big round of applause. Good on you, mate. It's not easy being my guinea pig. And you don't just use it for when you're stressed. I mean, think about Rogan's, think of what's he doing? He's doing this, isn't he? These are not just your thinking, your oh my God points, or in my friend Malcolm's case, oy vey. These are points that you hold when you want to feel more positive, when you want to be able to think more clearly. It makes an amazing difference. Okay, take a deep breath. And use stress as a trigger to hold these points. You know, even just if you've got a stressful situation that's going on that comes up and bugs you at night, does that ever happen to any of you all? Okay, just hold these points while you're thinking about it, and just doing that for 5 minutes while doing the breathing out more than you breathe in will literally begin to clear the stress around that issue. As I said, don't take my word for this. I wouldn't take my word for this. Can it really be this easy? Find out. You know, give it a try. Okay. Who here is the least stressed person in the room? Stressed? So water off a duck's back. Who's the least stressed person in the room? There's not a single... Oh, come on. Go on then. Come on, darling. Up you come. Tell me your name.
Peter.
Peter. Good to meet you, Peter.
Yeah.
Hold your arm out. Here we go. Hold this glass of tequila for me. Water. Water. Is it heavy?
Yeah.
It is? Okay. Let me ask you this. Would it be any heavier after a day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even so.
Even the lightest things become unbearable to continue carrying. Sooner or later we have to find ways to put our burdens down. No, this is one way. No. Yeah, this is, I've been told I can't use my glass. It's the whole virus thing. Here we go. Now, if that really was tequila, would I have been clearing my stress, do you think, or will I have been adding to it?
No, you wouldn't have let me hold it.
There you go. You can scull that one, Peter.
Thanks.
Have a drink.
I can instantly feel it too.
Oh. Okay, at this point you need to lie and say it's water. Oh, say it's water.
Not from deep dive. It's watered down tequila.
Is it? Well, it's amped up water, thank you. Okay, I'm not going to lecture you on the effects of alcohol on your body. You can get that information anywhere. But the bottom line is, when you drink water, you're doing the best thing that you can possibly do for your body and for your brain. Thank you. And we know we're supposed to drink more water, but did you know that your brain tissue is 85% water? If you're not putting water in your brain cells actually shrink. And even a tiny drop in drinking water levels will decrease your brain functioning 20 to 30%. I know! And water is the ultimate anti-aging product. It plumps up your skin, it helps with some of those facial wrinkles, it's good. And no, it doesn't count if you take your water with gin. Or with coffee, or in fact with anything that's going to dilute it. The more pure the water is, the more easily the body can assimilate it, and the better your body and your brain will function. The bottom line is, your brain is a wet computer. It's comprised of more water than any other organ in your body. So juice it up and then program it the way you want it to run. Now, I would love to keep sharing the skills that I learned over the years to help you function more effectively regardless of circumstances, but my time is up. I'm going to be in Ahahik until August, making a series of videos that teach people how to do some of the things that we were talking about today, and dozens more aside. So if you'd like to talk to me about any of those, I've got my business cards somewhere here. And if you email me at my website, I'll be happy to send you notes on what we talked about today. So I'm going to leave you with a prayer that my friend sent me over the internet. It is the senility prayer. ExperienceJoy.com. You can remember that. God, grant me the senility to forget the people I never liked anyway. The good fortune to run into the ones I do. And the eyesight to know the difference. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Joy. Joy, do you answer some questions?
Yes, sorry.
We do have time for questions. Does anyone have a question? If you do, just wait for the mic to come around. Any question?
Not a single one. Oh, there's a bloke at the back. There you go. Go and ask how many more tools and fabulous ways I've got of helping you live a more joyful life.
Okay. When you mentioned about pressing below the clavicles, did you mean above the bone in deep or actually below the collarbones?
Now, just underneath your collarbone, you've got these two little hollows. These little hollows, really. And upstairs management has organised it so it's just the perfect distance. So you go to your bony bits, you drop down a wee bit, squidge in, and then you've got two little hollows. Feel those? Anybody not feel those? Do use a neutral touch, so 2 fingers, and see, this is an amazing thing. Tarzan actually knew about this. Who's seen a Tarzan movie? He does it on this, doesn't he? Okay, these are actually junction points that affect, that affect all of the energy systems in your body, and that's why you wake up. Frankly, I couldn't get out of bed if I wasn't doing this. No, yes, okay, and it breaks up to the point where you can get moving again. See, that was more than we wanted to know, wasn't it? But I guess my whole point is, if you can't find these, do this to a Tarzan. Yep.
Any other questions?
So I was hoping you'd ask a question. I like the way you turn your ears on.
You started a moment ago to talk about the effect, well, you told us about the effect of, a positive effect of water on the brain, and then could you tell us a little more about the effect of alcohol on the brain?
No, you don't want to know, darling. It's all bad. I don't have time to go into it. It's just, okay, if you are, I will tell you this, if you are going to drink, do yourselves a great big favour and alternate alcohol with a glass of water. Not only will you last longer in every possible way, but you'll eliminate a lot of the hangovers. Okay, if you wait, hangovers are basically your brain is now so dehydrated from the alcohol and not enough water that it's going. Yeah, if you wait until you're thirsty to drink, it's too late. You're already dehydrated. Thirst is your body's last resort. You're out of your mind. I have to do this to tell you to drink. And so, do what I do and carry a bottle of water with you. Any other questions?
Are there any other questions?
Sure.
Okay.
Having lived in New Zealand for 2 years,
Oh, good on you, mate.
I find it fascinating that you are here talking about stress, because I found New Zealand to be one of the most stressful places I've ever been in.
Are you serious? Wow.
Other than the beauty of the country, the basic society I found very stressful. But so my question is, do you view your attitudes about stress in the positive way that you approach it because you're a New Zealander, or the opposite?
I view my attitudes towards stress the positive way I approach it, because the alternative is to look like this.
Well, it has nothing to do with...
It doesn't matter where you live. I mean, stress happens. In heck, it happens. In New Zealand, apparently it happens. Certainly happens in the States and in Iraq and everywhere. It doesn't matter where you are. You can't control what's coming at you. But I tell you, when you choose to control how you're going to feel about stuff by doing the simple things that I've shown you today, holding your head so that your brain stays clear no matter what's happening, breathing out so that you're sending those messages to your body, it's okay, it's fine. then it doesn't matter where you are or what you're doing, you're going to be able to be in charge. And that's always a good feeling, especially in a crisis, yeah? Any other questions?
Well, we're out of time. Thank you very much, Joy. That was a wonderful presentation.
Oh, do you want to turn me off? Otherwise
Thank you very much. Next week's presenter is Patsy Krakoff. Keys to Keeping Your Brain Healthy. Dr. Patsy Krakoff will share latest studies on keeping your brain healthy. She will shatter a few myths.
My feelings. No, I was curious as where did you come from?
I'm a rabbi, and I was a rabbi.